Hello, my name is Duncan Cock-Foster. This is my presentation entitled The Unseen Effects of Global Climate Change. And through this presentation, I will take you through how climate change has affected our world and what it means for all of us as a human race. Nowshera, Pakistan. Allah was angry when the rain came. In 2010, a terrible destructive flood struck this small Middle Eastern city. 1,500 people died, and 7 million more lost their homes. The local residents, who were all very religious, decided to blame God. However, the Pakistani government blamed global warming. A similar situation happened in Fuqueña, Colombia. It's almost like they're being punished, they said. We've never seen anything like it. This disaster damaged the homes of 3.7 million people, and $2.5 billion were spent on recovery, a massive sum for Colombia, a tiny country with a small budget. Beijing, China. 1.6 million people were displaced, and $1.6 billion were spent on the recovery for this city. The local residents said it's almost like the city was washed back to the way it used to be. These are all examples of global warming around the world. This is an example much closer to home. On the right, a picture of AMC's Walking Dead, an apocalyptic TV show about a zombie attack on America. On the left, a picture of Atlanta during a massive snowstorm. What do all of these disasters have in common? All of these disasters are caused by global warming. Global warming has become real for people. Global warming has become real for this photojournalist, Amanda Little, a Nashville, Tennessee resident, who said, "Global warming has put mold on my baby's crib." This happened when a rainstorm struck Nashville and disturbed her life and everyone else who lived there. There used to be some doubt as to whether or not global warming could actually be linked to worsening natural disasters. However, there is no more doubt. The Intergovernmental Panel on Global Climate Change has said so, as well as the National Center for Atmospheric Research. Now I'm going to talk a little bit about the history of how this happened and why it became a problem. Part of the problem was with the term global warming itself. Here's Wally Brecker, who coined the term global warming. Wally was a very successful scientist and won numerous awards for his groundbreaking work. However, he did not anticipate what the phrase global warming might have on the environmental movement. The problem with the phrase global warming is people see it and they think the only possible result is the globe heating up. Donald Trump thinks that. During this recent 2014 cold streak, he tweeted about how the cold streak was evidence that global warming wasn't happening. However, the cold streak can actually be attributed to climate change, and here's how. The jet stream is a stream of cold air that is trapped up in the north usually, but because of the warming North Pole, it was actually released and swung through the United States, causing the massive winter storms that we saw during 2014. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about the science behind how global warming makes climate change worse. This is a picture that I'm sure everyone is very familiar with. It is a measurement of the carbon dioxide in the atmosphere over the past 50 years. As you can see, carbon dioxide has increased a lot, and this, in turn, causes an increase in global temperature. We've actually been able to observe this increase in global temperature as well. There's no more doubt as to this existing. Over the past 100 years, global temperature has risen around 1 degree Celsius. Now, this may not sound very important, but 1 degree Celsius is actually extremely important when you consider the amount of moisture that it adds to the atmosphere. Iowa State meteorologist Gene Tackle has observed this rise in moisture, and he says he himself has measured a 13% rise of atmospheric moisture. Now, all this extra water in the air means only one thing, that there's more rain. It also means that when it does rain, the rain will be worse and more destructive. We have observed this gradual increase in rainfall over the years as well. Rainfall is a very variable statistic. In other words, the amount of rain varies a lot from year to year, but however, in multiple different places in the world, a slight increase in rainfall has been observed. Now, this is not the strongest piece of evidence for global warming increasing natural disasters. This is. Over the past 100 years, the number of natural disasters observed has gone up a ton. What was once at around 100 per year in 1950 is now at around 500 per year. These are all scientific facts that evidence the fact that global warming is now affecting our climate. Part of the problem is lack of awareness of this issue. David Gessner writes in For the Birds that most people only become interested in the environment through animals. This is definitely an example of slow violence that Rob Nixon wrote about, because it's something that does not have immediate observable effects. One government official said, I don't want to root for terrible things happening, but that's what it'll take. Unfortunately, these terrible things have already happened to people around the world and to us. And one of the most terrible things that can be attributed to global warming happened in 2005 in New Orleans. Yes, I'm talking about Hurricane Katrina. According to the head of the National Center for Atmospheric Research, 4 to 6% of precipitation during Hurricane Katrina, in other words, an extra inch of rain, can be attributed to global warming. That could mean the difference between a levee breaking and not, the difference between 1,000 lives. Americans are, however, there is good news, that Americans are becoming more aware of global warming and climate change's effects on natural disasters. 76% of Americans says that the effects of climate change will get worse if nothing is done to stop it over the next 100 years. And even more importantly, 41% of people, or a majority of people, said that Hurricane Sandy was worsened by climate change's effects. If we continue to raise awareness of these issues, they can be solved. So let's get out there and stop global climate change.